Hello dear students. So in last lecture we have discussed a lot about atoms and the Dalton's atomic theory, which was given to explain the further details about atoms, as well as the theory was very successful in explaining the laws of chemical combination. These are followed by the atoms during a chemical reaction. So after discussing about atoms, there is another term which is very frequently used in the study of chemistry, is about molecule. So what is a molecule? As we have already seen in previous lectures, molecule can be defined as a group of atoms combined chemically in a fixed ratio by mass, right? So a group of atoms where different elements or atoms are combined chemically in a fixed ratio by mass, that are the molecules. Now, if we look at the type of molecules, the molecules are of two types depending upon the nature of constituent atoms. These may be the molecules of elements and they may be the molecules of compounds. So what is the basic difference between molecules of elements and molecules of compounds? Molecules of elements are made up of only one type of atoms. So when a molecule is made up of only one type of atoms, then it is known as molecule of element. For example, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. And you can take the case of phosphorus, sulfur, and so on. So all these molecules, whatever is the nature, they all are made up of one type of atoms only, and that's why these are known as molecules of elements. And there is another very important property of molecules of elements, that these molecules exhibit the same properties of all the elements, right? And if we talk about the molecules of compounds, these are the molecules which are made up of different types of atoms, of course in a fixed ratio. For example, you can talk about the molecule like methane, which is a molecule of carbon and hydrogen. You can talk about the molecule like carbon dioxide is the molecule of carbon and oxygen. We can talk about the molecule like ammonia, which is a molecule of nitrogen and hydrogen. We can talk about the molecule of glucose, the molecule of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So list is very long, endless list, where we can have the compounds, the molecules of compounds. Another interesting feature about these molecules is that these molecules do not exhibit the properties of constituent elements. Rather, they exhibit totally different properties from their constituent elements, right? And when we talk about molecules, there is another term related to molecules, and that term is known as atomicity. So what is atomicity? Atomicity means number of constituent atoms in one molecule, right? How many atoms are there in a molecule, that is known as its atomicity. Like if you look at the molecule of hydrogen, its atomicity is 2, oxygen is also having atomicity 2, nitrogen is also having atomicity 2, but phosphorus and sulfur is having atomicity 4 and 8 respectively. Methane is having atomicity 4 plus 1, 5. Carbon dioxide has atomicity 3, ammonia is having atomicity 4, and if you talk about glucose, it is having an atomicity of 24, right? So on the basis of atomicity, we can have different types of molecules. We can have monoatomic molecules, we can have diatomic molecules, or we can have polyatomic molecules. So monatomic molecules, as the name shows, these molecules are having only one atom, or you can say the atoms that are capable of independent existence, that can exist independently on their own, are said to be existing in the form of monoatomic molecules. Whereas, as the name shows, diatomic molecules are the molecules where atomicity is 2. Polyatomic molecules are the molecules where atomicity is more than 2, right? So, if we talk about diatomic molecules, we can talk about again nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and so on. Whereas, the molecules like carbon dioxide, ammonia, water, glucose, these all are polyatomic molecules. Also phosphorus, sulfur, these all are polyatomic molecules. Now if we look at the monoatomic molecules, or the individual atoms existing independently. So the monoatomic molecules you observe in case of noble gases. So noble gases that are having stable atoms, so these exist independently in the form of monoatomic molecules. The gases are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and of course radon, right? So these all are the gases that exist in the form of monoatomic molecules, right? And there is another important exercise which is important here, that how to find the number ratio or molecular formula of a compound by using the mass ratio. So, how to find number ratio from mass ratio of a compound. A very simple exercise here. So, in order to make it clear, let's take an example of a compound containing carbon and oxygen in the mass ratio 3:8, and now you have to find out its molecular formula or number ratio. For doing that, what is required here? In order to find the number ratio, their mass ratios must be divided by their respective atomic masses, right? So, the mass ratio of carbon is 3 here, and atomic mass of carbon is 12, so 3/12. And here also the mass ratio of oxygen is 8, the atomic mass of oxygen is 16, so 8/16, which comes out to be 1/4 and 1/2. So you can say here that in this compound, carbon and oxygen are in the number ratio of 1/4 ratio 1/2. In order to simplify this, we can multiply it by 4 so that the number ratio comes out to be 1:2. So we can say a compound of carbon and oxygen where the ratio of the mass ratio of carbon and oxygen is 3:8. Its number ratio is 1:2, and you can say molecular formula of the compound is CO2, right? So two very simple steps are required. First step here is that divide the mass ratio of the given element with its respective atomic masses, and whatever ratio you get, if it is not a simple ratio, convert it to a simple ratio by multiplying with the nearest whole number, right? So in this way you can obtain the molecular formula of a compound, right? After knowing about molecules, there is another term which is frequently used while studying the chemistry, and that term is ions, right? So what are ions? An ion is defined as again an atom or a group of atoms having charges on it, right? A single atom or group of atoms that has got some charge over it is known as ion, right? These ions may be of two types, maybe anion or maybe cation. So an ion having negative charge is known as anion, and an ion having positive charge will be known as cation. So you can say a positively charged species is cation and the negatively charged species is anion, right? So how an atom is converted to ion? So let's talk about an atom which is originally neutral, means having neither positive nor negative charges. So when such atom loses electron, it gains a positive charge and it is converted to cation. On the other hand, if an atom gains electron, it develops a negative charge and now it is converted to anion, right? So in this way you can get cation and anion. So like molecules, the ions can also have different atomicity. The ions can also be monoatomic, diatomic or polyatomic. For example, if we talk about the ions like Cl negative, O2 negative, S2 negative, Na positive, Ca2 positive, Mg2 positive, Al3 positive. All these are what? All these are monoatomic ions, as they have got only one atom. So Cl negative is what it is? Chloride. O2 negative is oxide. S2 negative is sulfide. Na positive is sodium. Ca2 positive is calcium. Mg2 positive is magnesium. And Al3 positive is aluminium. Right? On the other hand, if we talk about ions like OH negative, NH4 positive, NO3 negative, CH3COO negative, SO4 2 negative, or CO3 2 negative. All these ions are polyatomic ions as they have got more than one atoms, right? So OH negative is what? It is hydroxide ion. NH4 positive is ammonium ion. NO3 negative is nitrate. This one is acetate. SO4 2 negative is sulfate, and CO3 2 negative is carbonate, right? These are some of the ions. So such kind of list or table is given in your books that you must learn in order to be capable to write the formula of the given organic compound, right? So if we of the given ionic compound, so if we want to write the formula of the compound, so how to write formula of an ionic compound? First of all, which is needed here is you must remember all the names of such ions with their respective symbols and charges, etc. Everything you must be knowing, right? And in order to give the formula, first of all you should remember while writing the formula, normally cation or the positive part is written first, followed by the anion or negative part. For example, if you have to write the formula of, say, zinc hydroxide. So what is done here? You have to know the symbol. Zinc is Zn2 positive, OH is OH1 negative. And what you have to do, you have to cross multiply their number of charges. Remember, only number of charges. So here is 1, so it should be multiplied by 1, and here it is 2, it should be multiplied by 2. So by giving the cross multiplication, the formula of the compound becomes ZnOH whole twice, right? And be careful, when there is a polyatomic ion and you are multiplying it with something, so it should be enclosed in the brackets. If you write it like this, ZnOH2, then this is wrong, because it's not only hydrogen which is 2 in number, the oxygen is also is 2 in number, so it should be enclosed in brackets, right? Let's have another example. Suppose you need to write the formula of like ammonium carbonate. So ammonium carbonate is NH4 positive, 1 positive, and carbonate is CO3, 2 negative. Again, by cross multiplying, the formula becomes NH4 whole twice CO3, like this. Okay. So here remember one thing, as I told you, cation must be written first, followed by anion. But if there is, your compound is having acetate ion in the form of ion, then the order reverses. In that case, the cation is written after the symbol of anion. For example, if it is the case of like sodium acetate, so here acetate should be written first, followed by sodium, and by cross multiplying you get it to be as CH3COO Na. And one thing, that if cations and anions are having equal charges, then after cross multiplying these are taken as common, and their numbers are not written, right? For example, if you write the symbol of magnesium sulfate, so in this case magnesium is Mg2 positive, sulfate is SO4 2 negative. By cross multiplying it becomes Mg2 SO4 whole twice, but taking this 2 common, the formula of the compound becomes MgSO4, right? So in this way you can write the chemical formula of the given ionic compound. So that is about the molecules, the type of molecules, ions, and how to write the formula of the ionic compounds. In our next lecture, we will be discussing about the masses of atoms and molecules, like atomic masses and molecular masses. Goodbye till then. Have a nice time.